Good morning, friends. Welcome to the second session of Indian Freedom Struggle 1885 to 1947. Myself, Dinesh Miglani. In this session, we will discuss about Morley Minto reforms, the Gadar Party, INC, Indian National Congress 1916 session, as well as Home Rule Movement by Annie Besant, as well as Gopal Krishna Gokhale, August Declaration, Rowlatt Act 1919, and different revolutionary organizations in India apart from Indian National Congress. Right? So that is the main aspect of this session. You may connect me on my Facebook at the rate Dinesh Miglani. My WhatsApp number 09215514435. For any query, you may send email to me at my email ID legalbuddy@gmail.com. For regular updates of my videos, you may subscribe to my YouTube channel at the rate Dinesh Miglani. I expect from you to share these videos on your Facebook so that more and more people will be benefited by this. Let us start with the brief introduction about this lecture. In our previous lecture, we discussed about formation of INC, right? And after that, a division of INC into the moderates, right, into the extremists. Okay. After that, we understood about the different achievements of the moderates, right? Then why extremists came into origin, because of number of reasons are there. The most prominent was Bengal division in the year of 1905, right? After that, Congress session of 1906 and 1907, which is primarily named as Surat split. Right? Now, in this session, we continue further from this Surat split from 1907. Now, in this session, the main issue that we discuss here is, first of all, year of 1909, in which the British government brought a commission in India, and they provided us Indian Consul Act 1909. Indian Consul Act 1909. Consul Act 1909. Which is also named as Morley Minto reforms. That is also named as Morley Minto reforms. Right. Now we try to, in this session, we understand what are the various provisions of this Morley Minto reforms about Indian Consul Act 1909. Then we try to understand the different other political parties that are working for Indian freedom in India as well as outside of India. The major was about the Gadar Party, right, as well as Home Rule Movement, because in the last session our focus was on the INC, Indian National Congress. In this session we also try to understand the other different parties that are working for Indian freedom struggle, right? Out of that, the major is Gadar Party, Home Rule Movement. Then the major incident is the Lucknow session of INC, in the year of 1916, right? That would be taken as the we can take it as the reunion of moderates as well as extremists. Moderates plus extremists, right? In 1907 Surat session they split, and in 1916 that was taken as a reunion of moderates and extremists, right? After that, in this session, we try to discuss about August Declaration. August Declaration, what are the major provisions of August Declaration, right? Also, we try to understand about the provisions of the Rowlatt Act 1919. Rowlatt Act 1919. Okay. As well as in this session, we discuss about different revolutionary organizations which are working in India as well as outside of India. So that is the major objective of this session. Let us start with point was one by one. First of all, we start with this Morley Minto reforms of 1909, or we can say that is Indian Consul Act 1909, right? So about the major things that have been changed, number of elected members in the imperial and provincial legislative council increased. Right. The major impact was separate electorates for Muslim, that we are earlier discussing in my session About the Muslim League from starting wants that there should be separate electoral sessions for electorates for the Muslims, as well as it was the result of simply the divide and rule policy of the England. So in this Indian Council Act 1909, there was a provision of given separate electorates introduced for Muslims, right? The next is non-official members are to be elected indirectly, thus election introduced for the first time. Now that's a very major point here. That is the concept of election introduced for first time in 1909 reforms. The number of times this type of question have been asked. In what particular Indian Council Act the concept of election have been introduced? That was in Indian Council Act 1909. Now the legislature could pass resolutions, ask questions, supplementaries, and vote for separate items on the budget. More powers have been given to the local legislature. They can pass resolutions, they can ask for the questions. One Indian is to be Viceroy's Executive Council. At that time, as we know that there is a Viceroy Executive Council. Viceroy Executive Council, after passing of 1858 proclamation by the Queen of England that for governing India, now for governing India there should be a Viceroy and there should be Viceroy Executive Council, right? At that time there are 15 members in that. Now it was stated that in the Viceroy's Executive Council, one Indian must be there, right? It means now that Indian may put the picture of Indians in that Viceroy's Council, try to raise the voice for the Indians, right? And Satinder Sinha was the first to be in the Viceroy Executive Council. So that person named as Satinder Sinha, he was the first to be into the Viceroy Executive Council, right? One more issue here to understand that annulment of partition in 1911 of partition of Bengal, the government announced annulment of partition of Bengal. Western and Eastern Bengal were to be reunited. That's also a very major development at that time. In the year 1911, what the Britishers have done, they have annulled that. They have annulled that partition of Bengal that was done in 16th October 1905, right? Now again that eastern and western part would be taken as a united Bengal, right? So that is about that Morley Minto reform. So if I just take a brief view about that, 2 or 3 things are very important for us. First one is separate electorates for the Muslims, right? And the second one is one Indian into the Viceroy Executive Council, right? That is about the Morley Minto reforms. The next issue here is that is the Ghadar party, right? When we talk about the Ghadar party, it is an effort by a few Indians who are outside of India and they are also working for the Indian freedom struggle. They want to create a clear picture about India to the whole of the world so that an effort can be made to make India free. That Ghadar party was primarily formed by Lala Hardayal, Taraknath Das and Sohan Singh Bakhna. These 3 persons are important in the formation of this Ghadar party. Lala Hardayal, Taraknath Das and Sohan Singh Bakhna. A few other persons are there, few other leaders are there. Baba Gurumukh Singh, Rahmat Ali Shaw. All these persons are directly associated with formation of the Ghadar party, right? Now we try to understand what was the reason behind formation of that party. The war period witnessed the growth of revolutionary movement not only in India but also inside as well as outside India as well, right? Indian revolutionary in United States of America and Canada have established the Ghadar party in the year of 1913. So that was some Indian persons are there who are in USA as well as in Canada. These are the illiterate, all these are the illiterate people, or we can say educated people, and they are working for the Indian, they are working for India to be free. So they made a party named as the Ghadar party. Most of the members of the party were Punjabi Sikh peasants and ex-soldiers who migrated, right? The party was built up around a weekly paper, the Gadar, that was the name of the paper, right? As well as that have carried a caption Angrezi Raj ke Dushman, right? So that is the name of the paper of the party. The name of the paper was the Gadar, right? Headquarter of the party was in San Francisco. So all these are the major points here. Now we try to understand what are the other activities of it, what they have done. They have opened a Savdej Sevak home in Vancouver, as well as United India House in Seattle. So all these are the efforts of the Gadar party, right? The outbreak of the First World War provided the Gadarites with an opportunity to free India from the government, which are different to their cause. They began to return India in thousands for a coordinated revolt, but unfortunately the authorities came to know about their plans and took immediate action. The rebellious regiments were disbanded and their leaders were either imprisoned or hanged. So what was their plan? Their plan was primarily, we know that in the year of 1914, there was First World War was going on, right? At that time, these party leaders have found it an opportunity to make India free, right? So what they have done, they gathered and they tried to come back to India, right? But that was understood by the Britishers and they imprisoned them, and most of the leaders are either killed or hanged, right? That is about the Gadar party. The next a very important incident in the Indian freedom struggle, that is the Komagata Maru incident in the year of 1914. What was about that? Komagata Maru was a Japanese steamer ship that carried Sikh and Muslim immigrants from Punjab to Vancouver. The basic, it's a steamship in which some peasants have been just carried from Punjab to Vancouver. At that time, there was a concept of doing a labor at that outside of India, but the ship was forced to return back to India by the Canadian authorities. The ship docked as Buzz in Calcutta, right? In Calcutta, that came back to India. In Calcutta, it was docked. The Britishers considered the passengers as dangerous political agitators and tried to arrest Baba Gurdeep Singh from among them. Police opened fire, and in that 19 passengers died in that incident, right? So here it was a major incident. Why? Because they have aroused the feelings of arrest of Baba Gurdeep Singh, right? As well as 19 passengers have been died. So that somewhere created a feeling in Indians that if they migrate from India to the other country, so they will not also get a respect there, right? As well as when they come back to India, it is in the hand of the Britishers whether they will accept them or not. So because of that Komagata Maru incident, so there is a sense of revenge in Indians, right? So that's a very important incident into the Indian history in the year of 1914. Now after that, we have understood about the INC, about the Gadar party, right? So apart from that, there are some other movements are going side by side, out of which a very famous movement was Home Rule movement, right? Home Rule movement similar on the lines of movement of Ireland for social and political reforms. So it's a very important question here that from which country the concept of Home Rule movement was taken. The concept of the Home Rule movement was taken from Ireland, right? Just try to understand the brief issue here. After Tilak's return, having served a sentence of 6 years in Mandalay, he tried securing the readmission of himself and other extremists into the Indian National Congress. With the need being felt for popular pressure to attain concessions, a disillusionment with monumental reforms and wartime, Tilak and Annie Besant ready to assume the leadership. So there are two type of movements are there. One was for Tilak, that is Bal Gangadhar Tilak, right? And the second was Annie Besant. Annie Besant. Right? The Home Rule League was pioneered on the lines of the similar movement in the Ireland. Muslim League supported the movement. Its objective was to work for social and political reform. The main objective was to work for the social and political reforms. One important thing is there that Muslim League supported this concept. Muslim League supported this concept. So let us start with the first movement, that is the Tilak Home Rule movement. When we talk about the Tilak Home Rule movement, it was started in April 1916 at Pune. The major area of it was Maharashtra, Karnataka, Central Province, Berar, excluding Bombay. So when we talk about the Tilak Home Rule movement, it was focused in Maharashtra, Karnataka, as well as Central Province. Tilak linked up the question of Swaraj with the demand for formation of linguistic state and election education in vernacular language. So these are the major demands of the Bal Gangadhar Tilak, that is demand for the Swaraj. As earlier I told you that Bal Gangadhar Tilak in the Congress session of 1906 in Calcutta has first time introduced the concept of the Swaraj, that was basically named as the self-government, right? And with the help of the Home Rule movement, all demands were raised against by the Bal Gangadhar Tilak in the name of Swaraj, formation of linguistic state, education in vernacular language. Now, these are the issues were somewhere arisen in the year of 1916, and later on after India got independence, some states have been based on the linguistic basis. The next point here is Bal Gangadhar Tilak has given a slogan, that is Swaraj is my birthright and I shall have it. So that is a slogan given by Bal Gangadhar Tilak. Sometimes that question is also asked, who has given this slogan? Swaraj is my birthright and I shall have it. So that is that slogan has been given by Bal Gangadhar Tilak, right? And there are two newspapers that were started by Bal Gangadhar Tilak as a part of his Home Rule movement. The first one is Maratha and the second one is Kesari. These two are the newspapers were organs for Home Rule movement, right? Next we have Srimati Annie Besant Home Rule movement. That is also started in the same time in September 1916. The major area was the about the rest of India, right? It started by Subramaniam Iyer and Annie Besant. The major newspaper were New India, Commonwealth and Young India. All these were the English newspaper. Whose major objective is to spread the objectives of this Home Rule movement as well as create a feeling of the nationalism in Indians. In 1917, Srimati Annie Besant got arrested. Many moderate nationalists who were dissatisfied with the Congress inactively joined Home Rule agitation. Because number of persons are there, they are not satisfied with the Congress, so that tried to create an independent platform, an alternative platform where people go together and they also working for the Indian freedom struggle, right? In 1917, Annie Besant was arrested. Popular pressure forced the government to release her in the September 1917. So it's a time where Srimati Annie Besant first arrested in 1917, but because of the popular pressure, after a few months she got released, right? Now, one more very important point to understand is Annie Besant used the Commonwealth term for the first time. That's a very important term here. When we talk about this Commonwealth term, Commonwealth includes all the countries that were somewhere under the British domination. They are named as the Commonwealth. As we know that every 4 years the Commonwealth Games were organized. When we talk about these Commonwealth countries, that are all the countries that have some time under the control of the Britishers, right? So that is about Annie Besant Home Rule movement. The next very major event is that is the Lucknow session of Congress in the year of 1916. As we know that in the session of 1907 in Surat, the Congress was split into two parts, right? The first one is the moderates and second one is the extremists. In 1917 session, it was presided by moderate Ambika Charan Majumdar. Ambika Charan Majumdar, that was presided by this person, right? The growing nationalist feeling in the country produced two historic developments at the Lucknow session of Indian National Congress in 1916. The first one is the two wings of the Congress were reunited. That's a very major event of this session. The two wings of the Congress got reunited, moderates as well as the extremists, right? The Lucknow Congress was first united Congress, brought about a reunion of the moderates and extremists. And the second major event here is that is Congress and the Muslim League came on a common platform, right? All India Muslim League sank their old differences and put up a common political demand for a representative government and dominant status before the government. Congress accepted the separate electorate for Muslim. This led to Congress League Pact, right? Now here the next point here to understand is what do you mean by this term Congress League Pact? Congress League Pact, right? In the year of 1916, in the Lucknow session, both Congress and Muslim League came on the same platform. Congress have accepted the demand of the Muslim League and Muslim League have accepted the demand of the Congress. What were those demands? Congress have accepted the demand of the Muslim for special electorates. For separate electorates for Muslim, Congress have accepted that demands. Separate electorate for Muslims. Electorate for Muslims, right? So that demand was accepted by the Congress. Similarly, when we talk about the Muslim League, Congress accepted that demand and the Muslim League accepted the demand for a representative government and dominant status, right? So what Muslim League have stated, they accepted the demand of dominant status of the Congress, right? Means the basic idea is they somewhere tried to make a common understanding so that they can work for Indian freedom struggle jointly. So that particular pact is named as the Congress League Pact of 1916, right? So that's why this Congress session is very important. Now sometimes the question is being asked, who presided this Congress session of 1916? That is Ambika Charan Majumdar. What are the major outcomes of this session? Two wings have been reunited, and the second one is Congress and Muslim League also came on the same platform, and that is also named as the Congress League Pact. The next point here to understand is August Declaration, right? August Declaration is also named as Montague Declaration of 1917. So that is about simply the effect of August Pact that was there in 1916 between the moderates and the extremists as well as between the Congress and the Muslim League. So just try to understand what you mean by this Montague Declaration of 1917, which is also named as the August Declaration. A British policy was announced after the Lucknow Pact, which came to be named as August Declaration. It aimed at increasing association of Indians in every branch of the administration for progressive realization of responsible government in India, right? Means after that pact, there was an impact on the Britishers. They somewhere now aware that at one day we have to free India, either by giving them complete independence or by giving them dominion status. So one thing is clear in their mind that the one day they have to free India, right? So what they have now opined that they started the increasing association of Indians in every branch of administration, right? So that they would be made independent, and one day when independence was given to them, so they are in a position to handle the administration of the country. So that is named as August Declaration. That particular declaration became a basis to the Montague-Chelmsford reforms of 1919, right? Here also one more important point to understand is Rowlatt Act 1919, which is a very that is famous for Jallianwala Bagh, right? So first do try to understand about this, that Rowlatt Act, right? It's a sedition committee headed by Justice Rowlatt. Okay, this act authorized the government to imprison any person without trial and conviction by court of law for 2 years. Means any person can be imprisoned by the government of India without any trial, and he can be convicted for 2 years. Means now the government has the power to imprison any person for 2 years. right? And he cannot any trial in the any court. The law also enabled the government to suspend the right of habeas corpus, right? Now we know that the habeas corpus after independent in Article 32 of Indian Constitution, one particular writ is provided in the name of the habeas corpus, right? But at that time, the government of England has suspended the right of the habeas corpus, which has been the foundation of the civil liberties in Britain, right? So there was a country-wide agitation against it, and it marked the financial, it marks the basis for the non-cooperation movement. Hartals are there, strikes are there, processions, and demonstrations are there for in against of this Rowlatt Act of 1919, right? And in as a protest for that, the Jallianwala Bagh happened. In the next session, we discussed about this. So in this session, the next point here that we try to understand is the next part of this session includes different revolutionary organizations in India, right? As in this session, we have talked about Home Rule movement, as well as we also talked about that Ghadar party. So apart from that, few other organizations are there that are working in India apart from INC. The first one is Mitra Sena. That was an organization founded by Savarkar brothers in Pune in the year of 1899. Second one is Abhinav Bharat. It was formed by V.D. Savarkar in the year of 1906 in Pune. Bharat Mata Society. It was formed by Ajit Singh and Amma Prasad in Punjab. Naujawan Sabha, that's a very famous society. It was formed by Bhagat Singh in the year of 1926 in Lahore. So, as well as Hindustan Socialist Republic Association, Chandrasekhar Azad in the year of 1928. So, if I just look out the different organizations, so they started to work in different areas of India. Like in Pune, we have Savarkar brothers. Then in Punjab, we have this Bharat Mata Society of Ajit Singh. In Lahore, we have that Bhagat Singh. In Delhi, we have Chandrasekhar Azad. Means in every nook and corner of India, people started to gather and with an objective for make India free. Not only in India, but also outside of India. There are names of some organizations which are revolutionary organizations outside India, right? In that, the famous are Indian House in 1905 by Shamaji Verma in London, right? So all these persons are there who went to these countries for higher education, for studies, right? And after getting higher education somewhere, they have observed that the other people have more rights as compared to Indians. So that's why they made their organizations for India to be free. Next, we have India Independence League in 1907 by Taraknath Das. We have this Ghadar party, as earlier I told you, 1913 by Lala Hardyal in San Francisco. INA, Indian National Army by Ras Bihari Bose, Subhash Chandra Bose in Tokyo. We have Government Indian Independence League in 1942 by Ras Bihari Bose in Tokyo. So all these are organizations that worked, that have been made outside of India, and the major objective of this organization was to work for the freedom struggle of India, right? So that is end to the major concepts of this session. Let's have a brief understanding what we have studied in this session. In this session, first of all, we studied about that Morley-Minto reforms, Morley-Minto reforms of 1909, right? And when we talk about this Morley-Minto reforms, two major outcomes. The first one is separate electorate for Muslim, separate Muslim electorate for Muslim, right? And the second major issue in that act was one Indian in the Viceroy Executive Council. In the Viceroy Executive Council, one Indian was there, and Stendhal Sinha. Stendhal Sinha was the first Indian in the Viceroy Executive Council. Stendhal Sinha. Right. After this Morley-Minto reforms, we studied about the Ghadar party. Ghadar party, right, in the year of 1913, that was formed by Lala Hardyal in San Francisco. Number of persons are involved with that: Taraknath Das, Sohan Singh Bakhana, right? Their headquarters was San Francisco. and they have also established Savdesh Sevak Home at Vancouver as well as United India House at Seattle, right? Then we studied about a very famous incident that is named as Komagata Maru incident, right? Maru incident in the year of 1914, in which 20 persons have been killed by the Britishers at the Calcutta, right? And an attempt was made to arrest Baba Gurdeep Singh, right? So that was of Komagata Maru incident. After that, we studied about this Home Rule movement. Home Rule movement, right? Home Rule movement, it's based on the concept of Ireland. Similar type of movement was there in the Ireland. The major objective of Home Rule movement was to work for social and political reforms. That Home Rule movement, we have studied two type of movements here under the two type of leaders. The first one we have studied about under the leadership of the Bal Gangadhar Tilak. Whose major area was Maharashtra. Was made as Maharashtra, Karnataka. In that area, that particular movement was famous of Bal Gangadhar Tilak, right? Their demand was for Swaraj, formation of linguistic state. Now here we can say that their major demand was Swaraj, right? And the second one is formation of linguistic state. So that would be taken as formation of linguistic state, right? And then we have the movement of Annie Besant. Annie Besant, although conceptually both are the same, only the differences in the area as well as their basic objectives, right? So when we talk about that movement of Annie Besant, so that was outside India, that was all over India except the movement of Bal Gangadhar Tilak. All over India, the major area was all over India, right? And that movement was very successful. They tried to create a platform in which the persons who are not satisfied with the policies of the Congress all started to work with them, right? Then the major incident that we studied in this session is that is the Lucknow Pact. We can take it as Lucknow Pact, or we can say INC Lucknow session of 1916, in which two major outcomes are there. First, it was a reunion of extremists and moderates. It was a reunion of extremists plus moderates. Okay, and the second one is it was taken as Congress League Pact. Congress League Pact means now the Congress and Muslim League both just forgotten their differences, and they together to work for the common objective, right? Then we have this August Declaration. August Declaration, that was basically the effect of that Lucknow Pact. August Declaration, right? So that was given by Montague Declaration, in which an effort was made to increase the participation of Indians in every branch of administration, right? In 1919, there was a commission named as the Rowlatt Act, right? Rowlatt Act, that was an effort made by the Britishers to suppress this freedom struggle movement. Because under this act, any person can be arrested, any person can be detained for 2 years without any trial. In last, we try to discuss about the different revolutionary organizations in India as Mitra Sena, Abhinav Bharat, Bharat Mata Society, Naujawan Sabha, Hindustan Socialistic Republic Association, as well as in India, as well as outside of India, right? Outside of India, we have that Gadar Party, right? That INA, Indian National Congress, Indian National Army, as well as we talked about India House, India Independence League, that Government India Independence League. So all these are the organizations that worked outside India for making India to be independent. I hope you enjoyed the session. So that is end to our second session of Indian freedom struggle. Thank you very much. You may feel free to contact me at my number 09215514435. I expect you to share these videos on your Facebook so that more and more people will be benefited by this. Thank you very much.